science. At least do it in marker.
Bro, we're really not serious right now. All right, welcome back to Kingdom Cast. This your host, Super Champ Chuck. We back at it with another episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share all your social media platforms. And yes, country, we definitely need to pay that man ASAP. But before we get to all that, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Let's introduce the panel here. My guy D-Max on the top part of the screen. I already said country's on here, top right. My homegirl Kylie's on the bottom left. My guy Boogie's on the bottom right. And our special guest is going to be here in a second. But in the meantime, what's up with y'all? How y'all feeling, man? Camp has concluded today. We on to Arizona.
Do we have to?
I'm psyched. I feel like just as I was like super excited for camp to start, I'm equally as excited for it to be over and us to move on to like final 2 preseason games. Everyone's back in town and just like getting into the regular season. I'm psyched.
For sure. I'm not excited about playing in Arizona though. That
field.
That kind of dampens it just a little bit, but I feel the same way you feel, Kyle.
I think everybody on the team is ready for camp to be over with too.
Yeah,
and I know, right? Well, and it was longer this year by a few days, right? So it just feels like it's been going on for, I don't know. It's been 83 years, like that meme, the old woman. She's like, it's been 83 years. Anyway, it feels like it's been a long time.
That old lady from the Titanic.
Yes, yeah.
89 years ago.
All right, well, let's go ahead
and screw her, man. Hey, man, no. Screw her, bro, because there was room enough on that door for Jack to get on that door, bro. It was room. And she just let him sink to the Never mind.
But anyway, let's go out and get our special guest in here, man. Y'all know 610 Sport KC, host the afternoon show at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Our guy, Carrington Harrison.
C-Dot.
Welcome back, C-Dot.
Hey.
You don't got to introduce me like that, dog. You really don't have to introduce me.
Hey, C-Dot.
I've been on here enough. I feel like if
you still don't have the record, though.
Yo, let me tell y'all something. The record? Let me tell y'all something real quick, man. C-Dot had like the candlelight special going on originally before we went live. He was about to set that wine bottle out, put it on ice. He was about to light that candle. He was about to set the mood right. So I just want to put that out there real quick.
He had a bottle of Barefoot. He had some incense lit. And Marvin Gaye was pumping. Baby number 2.
Awful.
Yo, the last time I was supposed to come on here, Charles literally sent me a message at like 5:05. Like, yo, can you come on? No, I can't come on your podcast.
It wasn't on the day of.
You can't. I swear, I'll post the text messages. I don't want to have to bring you into this thing. I don't want to have to do that. He sent me, and I'm like, Charles, you know I'll come on. You know my rule. I can't. You like, I already got something to do. You want me to? I'm like, all you got to do is give me a heads up. That's it. He texted me like, I boogie. I'll post the text. You know I ain't lying. It was like, yo, you coming over? No. When did this? Nobody told me about this. Why are you acting? Then y'all kicked me off for Darren Smith last week. Yo, that's sick, dog. That's sick work. D-Mac, that's sick. You know it's sick.
I wasn't here. I was having technical issues. It's out of my hands. It's out of my hands, dog.
I got kicked off of Darren Smith. He was like, yo, we got you next week. I was like, you better. This is the last Thursday I'm free for y'all. I'm not for the next couple Thursdays. I'm not free. I'm not free.
That's dirty, man.
That
is nasty work.
Dog. I like Darren too, but golly, I got kicked off of Darren Smith. Darren got to wait for me to come on first. I'm not waiting for Darren.
Hey, listen, he barely got in before you did, bro. It just went that way. So
this is sick work.
Man. Well, we got you on now. So.
Here you are. You made it.
Yeah. Welcome, Carrington.
Nobody can stop being on here with y'all. John Lyon. John, this is what I want you to do. I want you to write down how many yards you think every receiver gonna have, and I guarantee you it's gonna equal like Mahomes throwing for 7,000 yards this season. That's what I want you to do. I want you to write down everybody's yards. I want you right now. I want you to write down how many yards you think people gonna get, and let's add it up at the end. And I guarantee you have Mahomes throwing for 6,700 yards this season. I guarantee it.
I'm working on it right now.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I want you to D-back. I'm telling you, think I'm joking. He gonna be like, oh man, Moore gonna have 900, Kelsey gonna have 15, Pacheco gonna have 6. Watch. By the time we add it up, watch what happens. Y'all think I'm joking? I know country. I don't know country for a decade. Y'all know I'm not lying.
Yeah, I've known Carrington ever since he was an intern for Nick Wright. He wasn't even on the radio.
A long time ago.
Right.
It was a long time ago.
Like he was barely allowed to talk back then.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't allowed. I had to ask, can I talk? I couldn't talk. No, I'm excited to be here, man. What's going on? I know you guys are excited about everybody. I know you like everybody on the team. You have no question marks. They're not losing to anybody. They're winning the Super Bowl again. I don't even know why I'm on here today. What can I tell y'all that y'all don't already know?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you can talk about Chris Jones for a bit. So let's start with that. All right, so maybe you have an update. All right, so the latest is that Joe Coley, they asked him about Chris Jones. He said he still stays in touch with Chris. You know, he was expecting a million questions about Chris, but I guess that wasn't the case. So he said that Chris is working hard still, and we'll welcome him with open arms when he gets back here. And he also mentioned that Chris Jones was as good, if not the best player in the NFL last season. So camp is concluded now. He skipped camp. You know, some people are saying that he skipped the camp and then he gonna sign the deal. So like, is Chris Jones gonna get something done this weekend? I mean, how long do you think this plays out, bro?
I mean, I'm giving them till next Friday. I think next Friday is the deadline. Like, I mean, once we get to August 28th, there's no more preseason games, and it is just preparation for the Lions. Like, at that point, if you don't have something in place or you don't feel like you are at the final day, like at that point, to me, you're prepared to take this all the way. Like, if you're prepared to miss week 1, you're prepared to miss week 2, you're prepared to miss week 3. Like, you are ready to fight on this lot, like to quote The Wire a little bit. So I'm looking at next Friday as the deadline of when this thing is going to be done. I never thought this was a missed camp situation. Like, I mean, nobody likes training camp. Am I willing to spend $1 million to not go to training camp? Doesn't seem like a good allocation of funds to me. Like, right. To me, he was hoping to do what Zach Wilson with Zach Martin did. Excuse me. Zach Martin was willing to trade $1 million for $8.5 million. He made the right decision. Like, I don't know if the Cowboys just go to him and say, man, you were working hard. Let's just give you a raise. I don't think they were willing to do that. He was willing to hold out. He was willing to miss. He got a raise. He got a new contract. Chris Jones was willing to do this exact same thing. If he doesn't sign a new deal, was all of it worth it? I would say then at that point, your only choice is I got to go ball out this year for the Chiefs, and then I'm going to be a free agent next year, and I'm going to sign for a crazy amount with the Bears or the Colts or some team like that next season.
And I found it interesting that, I saw that the list of clients that his agent, the Kast brothers, is, he's one of their clients or whatever. I see the list, and Chris Jones is the only star on this list. Like, everybody else is former Chiefs that were like role players, or guys that barely even got on the NFL roster. So, I mean, I found that interesting. So it seems like it's a lot of riding on not just Chris Jones, but that sports agency in general as far as getting this deal done.
Yeah, I actually think that we kind of overplay that a lot. Like, think about how many NFL players there are. Man, not everybody is signed to Drew Rosenhaus. Or everybody's not signed to Tom Condon. You know what I mean? Like, I bet you if we saw every agent in the National Football League, we would see a lot of them are like what the Chris Jones situation is. You got one super player, and you got a bunch of other dudes in the league. Like, how many known players are there in the NFL? Like 100 probably. A lot of other dudes in the National Football League than that. Like, I kind of think people were overselling that part. And if you're the agent, you got to realize that everybody is watching this. So if you play the Chris Jones situation right, you can go to an upcoming player. You can go to somebody in the draft and be like, yo, look what I just did for Chris Jones. Look how I got him paid. I can get you paid the exact same way. So the agent has a lot riding on this too.
Yeah, that's what I tweeted out. These agents, they need these sorts of headline things to make waves. You saw it with agent Lynn Nicole, I believe is her name. I might have got it wrong, but she had the Hertz's deal that was huge this offseason, and that made waves up and down the timeline. And so whenever you can get that headline, and especially if you get the $30 million per year headline, that you get to tag to your agency, that's a big thing for him.
C-Dot, are you giving Chris Jones $30 million?
No, I wouldn't give him $30 million. Like, this is kind of the thing. There's always numbers in the middle. Like, I don't think he's Aaron Donald. I don't think anybody in here thinks that he's Aaron Donald. But there's numbers in the middle between what Quinnen Williams got and what Aaron Donald got. I would be pretty happy to sign Chris Jones to a 4-year, $104 million deal and around $70 million guaranteed. I think that's a more than fair contract. That is significantly less than what Aaron Donald got, but significantly more than what Quinnen Williams got. It locks you into $70 million guaranteed. Everybody can be happy this way. So that's a contract that I would be more than happy with. I think it's more than fair. I think it shows your appreciation for Chris Jones. Like, I think we have sort of run into this place when discussing Chiefs contracts, and I get it. Like, Mahomes is the only person who could take $500 million and get so much credit for taking less than everybody else. Like, it's just very weird to me how can you get both? Like, how can you get a guaranteed $500 million and everybody tell you that you took less money? Well, then what was more money? $700 million? Like, how much more could you have taken in this deal? I think we've oversold the Kelce thing just a little bit because he plays tight end and he doesn't play wide receiver. Like, if Travis Kelce just played wide receiver, he would make $10 million more than what he is at tight end just because the franchise tag number is so low. So I think there's sort of been this expectation, well, Mahomes took less, Kelce took less. Well, you got to take less. Everybody ain't wired to take less. Everybody's opportunities ain't the same. Everybody's family situation ain't the same. What Kelce can do in terms of marketing, it isn't the same for Tyreek Hill for a bunch of different reasons. So I'm not interested in leaving $7 million on the table. I've already won my Super Bowl ring. I already think I got a chance to go to the Hall of Fame. This is my one contract to set everybody up. And I think we lose sight of that whenever we're talking about these deals. I remember I was talking to a former Chiefs player, and his contract was ended, and he was going to a second deal. I was like, hey, what are you looking for? And he was like, I want to sign with whatever team wants to pay me the most. He was like, I'm probably not a guy that's going to get that big third contract. This is the contract that I've been working for my whole life. I've been working my whole life to get this deal that will set me and my family up for all of it. Like, for all of it. And I think we just underestimate that with these dudes. Like, you don't get to that point very often in your life where you can make one decision where you never got to work again after this.
Is there a scenario for you that Chris doesn't play the first game against the Lions? Do you think it'll come to that point? So to your point, like, if he's not playing, what good does that do for him if they don't get a contract done and then he's not playing? So is there a scenario where you think he doesn't show up for game one?
I mean, I think he'll be there. I could see this scenario. I could see him getting back late where Andy doesn't play him, but he still gets paid. Like, I could see a scenario in which he shows up the Tuesday before the game, so you're still eligible to play in the game. They can't say that you're not an active player. You are obviously an active player, but obviously you just haven't been around the team and it takes you 2 weeks to get into game shape. I could see that scenario happening.
Yeah, that's why for me, I feel like he's got to report here within the next 1 to 2 weeks for him to have a realistic shot. Because Andy's not going to go out there and play him if he's got a week to prepare and get ramped up for the season. I don't care how much he's been working on in Miami.
I agree. I mean, I would say next Friday he needs to be in camp. Yep, if he is not around the Chiefs by next Friday, we're heading into, I think it's August 28th. If he is not practicing August 28th, something is wrong. And I would say that you were prepared to not play at least in week one. Like, you were prepared to really do this thing if you were not there by August 28th. Because you got to think, they got August, let's say they practice on that Monday. They'll probably take the weekend off, Labor Day weekend. I can see Andy just giving the guys off. And then by the time they come back on Tuesday, hey, we are preparing for the season. So they'll probably have, let's say, 7 practices between the 28th and the actual game. Like, for a guy like Chris Jones, that should be enough where you can contribute in some capacity. Maybe you can't play your normal snaps, but you can play week one against the Lions if you get there with 7 practices to go, if you've been working out, if you've been doing the stuff that D-Mac is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and like, he's not the only top defensive player that's still holding out. Like, Nick Bosa, his situation in San Fran, he's still holding out over contract situation. So, you know, we'll see how this thing's on.
I actually think the Bosa situation is different just because he's their best player on the team, where you can't argue that with Chris Jones.
You're right.
There's also the slight tweak. I believe Bosa, because he's still on a rookie deal, like, his fines can be waived still by the team should they reach an extension. So that's a little bit of an also wrinkle that goes into it.
Yeah, good point.
I think it's like, when you oversleep and you keep hitting that snooze button and you get into that last one, you like, man, I got 5 more minutes of sleep. I think he's like to that last snooze button that he could press before he really oversleeps. So I think like the deadline is like, I think they now have a deadline set that, okay, we cannot go past this day. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think when you see that line, then that's when things start to get done, or it's not going to get done. If it doesn't get done, like Carrington said, by next Friday, it's not going to get done. Then he's going to walk. Period. You know what I'm saying? I think the same thing happened with Orlando Brown. That deadline was coming up, and they seen the line, and he passed it, and they was like, okay, we're done. So
I don't think the Chiefs ever wanted to pay Orlando Brown, and that's where I think it's a little bit different. Like, this is where I think the Chiefs, this is where I think the Chiefs will always get the benefit of the doubt, and where the whole machine is like on the side of the owners, where it's different in the NBA, where the PR machine is on the side of the players, right? Like in the NBA, it is always like pay the player, do what the player wants. That's not really the case in the National Football League. So, like, we'll see what happens with Chris Jones. I feel optimistic that he's going to get a deal done just because I think it makes sense for both sides to get it done. If you're the Chiefs, you got to ask yourself very simply, all right, well, we know you want Chris Jones on the team this year. Do you want Chris Jones for 2 years after this? If the answer is yes, then it's not that hard to figure out. Just reach an extension. You can get some cap relief for this year. And then while Kelsey is still in his prime, you'll have Chris Jones on the team. While Mahomes is still under 30, you'll have him on the team. Like, if we're going to applaud Mahomes for taking less, then you took less to keep players like Chris Jones on the team. Like, if you didn't
specifically
Tyreek Hill on the team, you did it to keep players like Chris Jones on the team. And this is where I think it's somewhat recency bias by the fact of everybody is like fixated on the loss of the Super Bowl. Like, look at the offensive line, look at the offensive line. I would argue that the year before they maybe were a better team, but that defense wasn't good enough. That we remember a time where we're just thinking, hey, if you give Pat the 13th best defense in the NFL, they can win every single year. I just don't know how you do that if Chris Jones isn't on the team this year.
Yeah, because before we move on, I just want to say this real quick. It gets to a point where, you just got to wonder, like, Brett Veach, he's been right so far. I mean, as far as, like, whether to bring back players or not. I mean, you saw it with Tyreek Hill, we traded him. You saw it with Tyrann Mathieu, we let him go. You saw it with Orlando Brown Jr., like we mentioned, we let him walk. So, like, we've had luck on our side. And, he's done a good job as a GM, but you just got to wonder, like, that one time, if he misses this one big time, let's say Chris Jones does get brought back after this season. Like the next season, if we somehow just take a step back, you just got to wonder, like, how's he going to bounce back from that? You know what I mean? So, because sometimes your luck just runs out eventually. So.
Yeah, neither one of them were coming off a season like Chris is coming off of, though.
I mean, Tyreek was really good. I wonder.
Was good, though.
Like, to me, I think we create winners and losers in trades where, like, both things can be true. Like, last year's Chiefs can win the Super Bowl if they keep Tyreek Hill on the team. They wanted to keep Tyreek Hill on the team. Like, they were prepared to offer Tyreek Hill $25 million a season. And then it came to, well, we don't want to pay you 30. We all have that thing in our mind. Hey, I will go to this concert if the tickets cost X. If they cost this, I don't want to go to the concert. The Chiefs wanted to keep Tyreek Hill. The price was just over the amount that they were willing to pay. Like, I think we forget that part of it, at least when discussing Tyreek Hill and what happened last year.
So Carrington, when he finally signs, when the deal is done, what's going to be the tweet that signifies that the deal is done?
I think it's going to be the note emoji. I think he'll do that. I think he'll do something really vague.
I was thinking God's plan. I know I'm not the biggest Drake fan in here, but God's plan sounds kind of.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you dislike Drake? Like, what's the reason? Like, I don't like Drake. What's the reason? Like, I've never heard you tell me the reason. Why is the reason?
Because he has actions. You say what?
Because people say Drake is better than Jay-Z now.
Nobody says that. Nobody says
that. Nobody seriously says that. Drake's actions are actions of a sucker to me. And he does a lot of sucker stuff. and he just gets away with it because he's popular.
Do you like
I respect
Tupac?
it, but he does suck us.
Whoa.
I was just wondering if you like Tupac or not.
I do like Tupac. I don't
Okay, I
think
didn't know.
Tupac was pillow talking with anybody. Who's he pillow talking with?
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know that you could be born in Baltimore and grow up in New York and then make a song called California Love.
I knew that's where he's going with it too.
I didn't know. I didn't know that you could just join a gang.
He was born.
I didn't know. That seems way more sucker to me than what Drake does. But okay, all right. I was just asking. I didn't know.
But okay, dude, Michael Jordan was born in Brooklyn, New York, but he's a country boy. Is that the same thing?
That's not. He's playing basketball. It doesn't. It's not the same.
I mean,
Tupac lived. Dog, this would be like you, country. You lived your whole life in Kansas City, and then one day you'd be like, Chi-Town? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you grew up on Truth. What are you like? You live down the street. Why are you acting this way? Tupac lived his whole life in New York, and then one day just woke up and was screaming California Love, live and die in LA. Like, what are we? You as a Crip?
No, he showed love to the East Coast, and then he got caught in a situation. Nobody had his back, so he went to the people that rode with him.
Them people use Tupac like they was Michael Orr. That's what happened. He got used like the Toohey family is what happened with Tupac. I'm
not from the East Coast.
That's who that is. John Toohey. That's who he is.
It's funny how that story got brought back up again all of a sudden. It's on
out of nowhere too. But it was always skeptical. Like, I think I can speak for everybody on the panel when everybody like heard that story. They're like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?"
I'm not gonna say nothing bad about it. I ain't gonna lie. I
like the movie. I like the movie, but I heard the story.
We don't talk about pending cases, D-Mac. We don't talk about pending cases.
Fair enough.
I love that movie, man. It's something about it.
You love that movie?
It's a good movie. It's a feel good movie. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is.
The thing is, you know what? I love movies where the white man take the black people in, coach them up, just teach them how to be good citizens. I love them kind of movies. Like, I love Freedom Writers, dog. I love Freedom Writers. You telling me Hillary Swank go in there and teach them kids education through rap music? I love it. It's great.
This all makes sense now. It all makes sense now.
Hey, at least you didn't say Sunset Park. That's
one of a country. You know you love Dangerous Minds. Stop it. You know you love that movie.
Now I can see why. You know what? Never mind. I ain't about to go there.
So Justin Ross, man. Jesus Christ.
But training camp concluded today, and like, is it me or was there a lot of 10-on-10s in comparison, or 10-10-10s in comparison to all the other camps, just because of the weather and stuff? The weather kind of ruined like some of those practices where it could have got really real out there, but there was more of those indoors instead of outdoors. So all the reports I was seeing, there was a lot of 10-10-10 practices most of the time.
I mean, if you want my take on it, I think the Chiefs have shown you how they're going to handle the preseason. Like, they didn't take the first preseason game very seriously. Like, you could just tell by everybody's energy that they were not there to compete, because I think they get all the competition in the in their own training camp. Hey, we're not going to do any joint practices. We're not going to do any of that stuff. We're going to get all of our work here with us in St. Joe. We're going to try to simulate as much competition as we can in a controlled environment, try to keep everybody safe, and we're not going to take the preseason very seriously. Like, I think they'll take the second game of the preseason kind of seriously. Like, I can see Mahomes playing 2 series, and they try to put a real drive together. It was obvious offensively. They did not try to put a drive together. I don't know what their defense was doing. I don't know if their defense was on the field. They were just playing patty cake. They were playing 7-on-7 in touch. They just didn't take it very seriously. So I think we'll see a different energy this weekend. I think we'll see in the third game that none of them are going to play, and they're going to say that they got all their work in when it came to training camp.
So why is it that fans haven't got what Andy Reid's approach is as far as like when he says they're going to play a quarter or when they're going to play a half?
People don't really follow the team, bro. People don't follow the team.
People was freaking out, dog. Like, dog, he's not gonna play him the entire half. It's gonna be a quarter, dog. That's what he means by this. It's gonna be a quarter.
We do this every year. Like, I mean, and some things it's just a cycle. You know what I mean? It's a cycle. Like, you know what's gonna happen? I don't know who the Chiefs playing week 6, but they probably gonna lose. They're gonna be up 17-13 heading into the fourth quarter. A ball's gonna get tipped. They're gonna lose. and we're gonna act like the sky's falling, like teams don't lose in the National Football League. Like we already we do this same thing. I can already tell you how their season is gonna go. I can tell you.
We don't play the Colts this year, though. We don't play the Colts this year,
but we play the Bills.
They're gonna lose to like the Bears or something, and you're gonna be, and everybody's gonna be real mad. And like, oh, I can't believe that an NFL team won. It's like we already know what's gonna happen. Then the next week, this is what's gonna happen. They're gonna lose to the Bears. It's gonna be something fluky happen. Sunday night
Fields gonna go for 150 on the ground.
Everybody's gonna question them like, oh, this is this big game, and then they're gonna smoke the Jets on Sunday Night Football. Watch. I'm telling you what's gonna happen.
DJ Moore might get off like how Mike Williams be doing every year in Arrowhead.
Did you know that
Justin Fields is gonna play well? They'll turn the ball over. They'll sleepwalk. Football will happen. It's a long season. Football will happen. We see this happen all the time.
I'm so glad you didn't say the Chargers. That would have been so on point for you.
It's 3 divisional games back to back. Well, we might drop one of them. It's the Broncos, Chargers, Broncos.
Thank you.
We might.
They might lose this year to the Chargers. They could. It's possible.
This the Broncos.
Yeah. Like week 18?
I think so too.
Yeah. We'll lose on week 18. I'll give you that.
He's gonna say because we're resting the starters.
Exactly.
I actually think, and I don't like talking about it, but I think that we can lose to the Jags. Personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean down in Florida.
High, second week, they got our number. They don't have our number, but they're going to be gunning for us.
And unless one of their linebackers pull a press conference and just start laughing for no reason, then they're gonna lose again.
Actually, you know what my favorite part of the NFL season is? The country will argue with anybody who ever questions the Chiefs about anything. That's my favorite thing. Like, country will wake up like, oh, I know you ain't doubting Isaiah Pacheco. Like, why are you arguing with this person on Twitter? Why are you putting it? That's my favorite part of the season. I love country arguing with NFL fans from around the country. I love it. It's so great. I can't wait till he argues with Jaguars fans. I didn't even know there are Jaguars fans. I don't even know if they have a Twitter. He's already arguing with them.
Do they have a community? Do they have a nation?
No, there's no Jaguar nation. There's none of that.
I've never argued with them.
No, it's all in London, so that doesn't count. So
Man, keep that trolling.
Big time. Hey, let's get back to business. So me and Kylie did have a conversation about Shane Buechele versus Blaine Gabbert. Now,
I don't come on here to talk about no backup quarterbacks, dog. I don't want
to
talk
about
it. You don't want to talk about Blaine? Mizzou? You don't want to talk about Blaine Gabbert?
No, I don't.
Shout out to Deep.
Come on here, dog. I woke up at 6:30 in the morning. You know what I don't want to spend 8 o'clock at night doing? Talking to you about a situation that, country, you and I both know if they got to play Shane Buechele for 3 weeks, they might not win the division, dog. I don't know what to tell you.
Not good.
They might not win the division. So what are we doing here? Why are we talking about their backup quarterback? They have the best player in the league at quarterback. I don't want to talk about the best player in the league, and then we got to talk about the 197th best player in the league.
That is far too gracious for Blake Gabbert. That is we got way too many people in between 1 and 197 to put Blake Gabbert there.
All right, my bad. We got the 962nd best player in the league.
I'm trying to be professional.
So let me ask you a more interesting question. Because I'm the eternal optimist, especially when it comes to the wide receivers.
That's the thing is, I was telling people, you really country, but you play it a little differently. You're not arguing with random people the way country will. So that's the difference.
So my question is this: obviously, after the Tyreek Hill trade last year, there were a bunch of question marks going into it. So, which wide receiver core, if you can remember, did you feel better about last year's going into the season or this year's going into the season?
That's a good question. I would say this year's. I really liked Juju last year. Boogie, you remember I liked Juju last year. I was one of the few people that liked Juju last year. I'm gonna say I maybe am less worried about this one because I saw it work last year. Like, I actually don't like their wide receiver group. I think their wide receiver group is actually bad. Like, I would say it's one of the 10. Like, I would say it's bottom 10 in the National Football League. I just don't know if it matters. Like, Kelsey's going to have 1,300 yards this season. MVS will do his thing. Justin Ross will give you 200 yards. Like, they'll just figure it out. So I don't love their wide receiver group by any means. I just trust that Mahomes, Kelsey, and Reed, if all three of them are there, they'll be fine. Like, I've seen it happen too many times before where last year I kind of looked at the Chiefs last year like they were going to be a 10 or 11 win team that probably just didn't have enough to win the Super Bowl. And I obviously was wrong about the team. So I just told myself this year, I'm just not going to doubt them. I have questions about them. I wonder where the pass rush is going to come from if Chris Jones isn't available. I don't like their wide receiver group. I mean, there's things about this team I don't like, but I mean, for the last 5 years, they've just always figured it out. Why would this year be any different?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. That's kind of where I've landed. I mean, I liked Juju going into last year. I was defending him. I thought that he was going to have a bounce back year, but I understood why people have questions about him. And I understood why people had questions about if it was going to work. But at the end of the day, you see Reed, Mahomes, Kelsey, top 5 offensive line. It didn't matter what the wide receivers were. And so going into this year, I feel like even if you think like you do that the wide receivers are going to be bad or they just aren't going to step up, does it matter at this point? And we've seen evidence that it doesn't. So,
Carrington, are you saying this because Justin Watson going to make the team?
I do think Justin Watson's going to make this team. I do.
Oh, he's
easily
going to make it.
I think there's always 3 players that Chiefs Twitter and the actual Chiefs feel very differently about. And I think that Justin Watson is that player. Like they really like him. Like, let's be real. There was a time that Chiefs Twitter hated Daniel Sorensen. Y'all would have cut Daniel Sorensen. Y'all did not want Daniel Sorensen on the team. The Chiefs stood by Daniel Sorensen at every single stretch. And look, it paid off. Now, if he came to bang the drum, y'all would give him a standing ovation, man. So
I would.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like you just can't judge it by that kind of stuff. So yeah, the Chiefs have shown me that they believe in Justin Watson, that they trust Justin Watson. So I think he's gonna make the team. I feel pretty confident he's gonna make the team. I do think that we do all this talk about Justin Ross for him to be a healthy and active for week 1 against the Lions.
Man, that's gonna suck. But I mean, it's most likely. I mean, that could most likely be true. You know what I mean?
We always do this. Y'all remember, Country? You remember all them conversations? Yo, I remember I was in New Orleans and y'all was talking to me about Jody Fortson. You remember that boogie? Jody Fortson. That man has 200 yards in 3 seasons with the Chiefs, dog. I regret ever talking to y'all about Jody Fortson. I'm done. I don't want anything to do with it.
Will Justin Ross have a better year than Jody Fortson did last year?
I mean, maybe. I mean, he had 140 yards. I mean, I guess. I mean, I would say if you're asking me what's a good year for Justin Ross, I think he can get to 200 yards receiving. I would say that's a good year for him.
Jody had 100 last year, so.
Yeah, I would say if Justin Ross gets like 17 catches for 195 yards, that's a fantastic season from Justin Ross.
I'll say this real quick. About the wide receiver group, like there's no big names and there's no names that really stand out there's just nothing attractive about the group name wise, but if everything goes well and they stay healthy, I mean they still could be like middle of the pack this year.
But the thing is, I just don't think that they're middle of the pack. I think they play with Patrick Mahomes. Like,
yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
I think they play with Patrick Mahomes, and to me, that's different. Like, I don't think they have good wide receivers at all. Like, I just don't. But I mean, Patrick Mahomes is going to throw for 4,600 yards. Somebody's going to catch the ball. You know what I mean? Like, somebody's going to be there for it. Like, Mahomes is at that Brandon Stokely, Danny Amendola. He's just like. He is at that part in his career that it's just gonna work. So I don't love their wide receiver group by any means. I just trust that it's gonna work because Patrick Mahomes is the starting quarterback.
C-Dot, you buying that the O-line is better this year?
Yeah, probably so. I just always think that's really hard to quantify. Like, they already have good enough quarterback play. So it's not like the Bears, for example. Like their Bears offensive line, they made some improvements. So we're going to be able to, like, I'm actually really high on Pacheco this year. I can't believe his over-under in Vegas is so low. It's less than 800 yards. Like, it's basically a do you think he's going to get hurt, which, I mean, I don't know how you can forecast that. He doesn't really have an injury history of it. So, like, one of the bigger bets that I'm going to make is going to be the over on Isaiah Pacheco yards. I can't believe it's like 750 yards the last time I checked. That's just incredibly low for a player that you think is a team's number one running back, especially for an offense that you think is going to be productive and winning a lot. Like the Chiefs are going to be up. They're going to run the football. They're going to do some stuff. I can't believe Pacheco. He had 930 yards last year.
All right, made him over this.
I want to ask you. Hold on. I want to ask you something. Do you have any concerns about the change in offensive coordinator, or do you think no because it's still Andy's team?
I don't have any worry about the offensive coordinator. I mean, I guess the only worry that I have is it's just going to be really fun to see how Twitter will give Matt Nagy so much credit for the off. Like they're going to give Matt Nagy so much credit, and then you'll be like, "Hey, what's different about it?" To watch people be like, "Oh, you calling me racist?" Like that's going to be the funny part to me to see this year because you guys remember it was always weird. Like if a play worked, it was Andy, but if a play didn't work, it was the enemy. It never made any sense. It never was straightforward. It never made any sense. So this year, whenever Matt Nagy's one of the hot offensive names in the league, it's just going to be funny to see all the same people that was like, oh, well, what about it's just going to be funny to see that.
It's going to happen.
When you say 700, is that all purpose or is that just rushing yards?
Rushing yards, yeah. It's like, check it on FanDuel. I looked at it. I'm pretty sure. I know it's less than 800. I'm 1,000% sure. I think it's like 750.
Yeah, I think it was like 770 the last time I checked.
Yeah, which is too low of a number for teams. Like I would take the over for Deontay Foreman for the Bears at 700 yards. If you're going to give me a team's number one running back and it's that small of a number, I'll take the chance that they run for more than that.
That's a little more difficult situation for Chicago because I mean that's like a three-way type of situation with Chicago because like that rookie they got, Rashawn Johnson, he could take over the job in the middle of the season. I feel like so that's a little more difficult for me.
And Khalil Herbert is also going to get some run. That's also so.
No, definitely. And I mean, and the quarterback's going to run for 900 yards.
Yeah, too. That's the biggest thing. Yeah, the field's going to take a lot of rushing yards for sure.
A lot of rush.
Yeah, it's way more.
I remember last year it was like he just didn't want to throw it. None of them. It was like I'll just run. That was my favorite part. That was my favorite part. Yo, Boogie, are you signed up for our Survivor League this year? You signed up for Survivor?
No, I'm not. I need
right,
to. I've never done that. I need
sign
to
up for
that.
Survivor, man.
Okay,
because you know Carrington ain't gonna be in there longer than 3 weeks.
He never
first off, watch your mouth talking to me. Watch your tone. That's number one. Watch your tone talking to me. If you talk crazy to me.
It's funny you mentioned Survivor though, because it made me so mad last year. The Niners losing that game to the Bears knocked me out immediately. I was pissed. That monsoon game made me so upset because I lost every single Survivor League I was in. I was like, I just know the Niners going to go in here. It's the Bears. They're not good. I know they're not about to be good. It just rained, and so they lost.
Speaking of the Niners, I actually really, really like Pittsburgh in week 1. Pittsburgh is a home dog against the Niners. All that uncertainty about Brock Purdy, I'm telling you, I've been saying it on my show. Everybody says coaching quarterback. We apply that to every team except San Francisco. Like San Francisco just doesn't need a quarterback, but every other team does. I really think they go into Pittsburgh and lose. I actually have Pittsburgh making the playoffs this year, so maybe I don't know.
TJ Watt is going to be the healthiest he is all year, week 1, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Hey, Carrington, I got a real question to ask you, dog. So, if let's just say you did do this. If you stole $695,000 over a 9-month span, you would have been fled the country, right? You would have been left the country, right?
Okay, hold on. This is the thing. All right, I got give me like 30 seconds. I won't even take that much time. Think of all the bank heist movies that we have ever seen. You've never seen a bank heist movie where somebody robbed the bank by themselves. Never. It doesn't even seem feasible to me. Think about it. I got the gun. I got to watch my back. I'm doing all this. I have to drive myself. Like it blows my mind. I refuse to believe that either you weren't tipped off by somebody that works in the bank or you had no accomplice. like you were the fucking LeBron James of bank robbing. It doesn't make any sense. It's insane. It doesn't make any sense to me that you were so good when it comes to bank robbing. And it's not even to me that you stole all this money, right? You got out. You cut the ankle monitor. You then robbed 2 more banks. You want to know where they wouldn't find me? Bakersfield, California. You know where you would find Carrington. You know where y'all would see the tweet where I'm at? Ibiza. That's where you would be. They arrested me in France because I was overseas. I was international. That's where they would find me. You wouldn't catch me. What are you doing? You would catch me. I would be in the hills in Montana. Like you would really have to do some real government secret like you would really have to do some deep dive. This man was in Napa Valley drinking wine. No, you deserve to go to jail, dog. Go to jail.
Idiotic, man.
Yeah, go to jail, dog. I would have been in New Zealand somewhere. That's where you would have found me. I'd have been in New Zealand. Me, Kylie, and her husband would have been in New Zealand. Football, dog. It's sick, man. It's sick.
I casted John Barenthal to play him in the movie. Do you like that casting?
Hold on. I want to know if y'all had Chiefsaholic as a guest on this podcast.
No.
But we did talk to him in our Twitter space. We talked to him in our Twitter space, and that did happen. We had it happen again.
Boogie asked him on the show more than once.
Y'all asked him to come on here? He didn't come on here?
No, I didn't.
Boogie wanted him on here.
You didn't ask him?
I wanted to. They wouldn't allow me.
My thing is like you see all these pictures coming up, and he looks like trouble. He looks like his ass is up.
He looks like trouble.
And all he's literally dressed as a wolf. Like the whole thing, like we're all just like, oh, he's normal. Like things are good. Like,
I ain't gonna lie to you, Kylie. I didn't like the fact that when he was up, everybody was cool with him. Everybody was trying to do, and then when he was down, like. It's one thing to not fool with him no more, but let's say that Boogie got caught up. I'm not about to be leading the brigade to make jokes on Boogie while he's facing the bid. That was the part that was weird to me. You can't be trying to do an APB for that man's health and wellness at 9 a.m. in the morning, and now you memeing him at night. That's weird. That's weird energy.
That turned from a prayer circle to a stoning very quickly on Twitter.
And I'm like, that's weird. Like y'all was trying to be cool with dude early on. That's weird, bro. I don't fool with that kind of stuff. I didn't like that. And then everybody's like, oh well, we didn't know. Well, that's still weird. Like, so then you really didn't care about his health and well-being earlier. Like, I just wouldn't do that. And not if somebody like I'm not calling the police to help go to your house for a wellness check, and then I'm about to join everybody making fun of you. Like I don't know. It's just weird to me.
Carrington, how much would you have to be paid to dress up as a fan and attend the game? I'm signing you into a contract. Every home game, I need you to dress up as a wolf.
I'm not going when it's cold.
How much money is it going to cost?
I don't have any interest. I wouldn't stand outside for Jesus if it was cold.
Dang! Heck no!
Cold? No. It's warm in hell. I'm not there for a reason.
What's the line of cold, though? What's the line of cold?
That's insane.
40 degrees.
Cold is, bro. Nah, you know what cold is. I'm not. You know what cold is. You know what cold is whenever you go outside and say, it's some good football weather. I'm not going to that game. I'm not I don't have any interest in being at that game. I don't mind going. My rule about football, and Charles knows, me and Charles have been to football games. The game got to be super important for me to want to go if it's cold. It's got to be, and then it's got to be like reasonably cold. It's got to be like, all right, it's like 52 degrees. I got a jacket. I'm not, but bro, y'all be going outside when the shit be like Gatorade flavors. It'd be like Arctic Freeze, and y'all be outside, bro. I'm not going to that, dog. No, I'm not watching that game, especially not when it's on television. It should be on TV. I'm not. Come on, man. No, I'm not.
Oh man, but yeah, Carrington. Speaking of us going to a few football games, man. I know you saw the documentary with Johnny Football.
I did
not long ago. You haven't?
I did watch it. Yeah, I watched it.
Okay, all right. So yeah, remember when we went down to Missouri for that Texas A&M game?
We did, yeah. No, that was fun. That was a good time.
Look.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. They lost though, didn't they?
They didn't know they won.
They
Oh,
won.
they won. Okay, I was about to say bad luck step.
Charles and I have actually only gone to one loss. We went to Missouri's last basketball game at K-State, and I'm telling you that they got smoked. Just from the moment we got in there, Missouri was never competitive. Right. Never. Not from the beginning. But yeah, me and Charles, we went to the MUKU game. Well, the last one when they was both in the same conference. They won that game. We went to the Texas A&M game against Missouri. That was the second time they won the league. We went to that game. We went to like one Missouri-Arkansas game, I think, and they won. Yeah, me and Charles, we got a good record when we go to the game.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. But I remember the hype surrounding Johnny Football. Like, me and you was talking about Johnny Football up, and Country, he called me on this morning, like. He put up some old tweets. I said, look, if Johnny Football was there, I wouldn't have minded him coming to KC. I didn't say I would want him exactly.
You hated Alex that much.
That man Johnny Football would have had a residency at Ale House, dog. He'd have been in that. Been in that bitch every weekend.
He would have made young Kelsey blush.
That man would have been shutting Empire Room down.
He might have made Kareem Hunt blush though, D-Man.
You go crazy, man. That man would have been in Mosaic going crazy.
That would have been hell.
Chiefs worked overtime to keep Kareem Hunt out of the news because he was.
No, the thing about Kareem Hunt is, if you went out at all, everybody knew where Kareem Hunt went. Like, it wasn't that hard to see Kareem Hunt. Yes. I would say even if you go out a little bit, you've been out when Kelsey's been out before. It ain't never been no issue or no smoke or nothing. But if you go out in Kansas City, you've been out when Kelsey's out. If that's what you do.
If that's what you do.
So real quick, Carrington, before we let you go, man, I know you kind of.
I'm cool. I'm happy talking to y'all, man. All I gotta do is I gotta watch John Tucker Must Die. That's all I gotta do today.
John Tucker Must.
I gotta watch that.
I want to come on the Bad Movie Podcast, man. I know I'm not a big celebrity.
What movie do you want to watch?
It got to be bad. It's a movie that's so bad. It's a movie called The Spirit with Samuel L. Jackson that is beyond bad.
That's why you're not coming on the podcast. That's why you're not coming on.
Do Tubi movies count?
No.
See, now Boogie's not allowed.
Okay, here. Why don't you do this, Country? Why don't you come on? We're actually doing Tomb Raider in 2 weeks. Why don't you come on and review Tomb Raider?
Tomb Raider? Okay. I will do that. I'm gonna watch it.
Tomb Raider.
Is it on streaming somewhere?
You can come too if you want. Check. There's an app. It's called Just Watch, and you can see what streaming service, whatever movie you want to watch is on.
Just Watch.
You can also just Google it and it'll show you everything.
Yeah, that what she said too. You can do that
if you don't want to get the app. But the app sounds awesome. I mean,
no, the app. Yeah, the app. You can do it. You can like buy it from right there. Yeah,
Kylie was like, I have a much easier way personally, but
Kylie's rich though, so it's different. It hits different.
Google is not a rich or poor thing.
Somebody said. Juice said review Pootie
Tang. We're actually waiting to do Pootie Tang for Black History Month. So we're waiting for.
That's right. Oh my God!
We're waiting for February.
Don't watch it during Black History Month, man.
No, we're gonna do it.
Jesus Christ!
That's what we're gonna do it.
Oh my God,
Chris, you know you can do the podcast. Let me know when you want to pop.
Cooking ass Chris. What up, Chris?
What's happening?
Chris is my guy.
We all get a movie. Let
me tell you a story about Chris. I don't know if Chris gonna be mad at me for telling this story, but I'm gonna tell it.
So,
this was when I first moved into my apartment. Charles been over before, but you've been over before. Everybody, you done been over before too. John, you've been over.
Yeah, we watched Battle Rap.
Yeah, so Chris bought me a bottle of 1800 tequila, right? Mm-hmm. I convinced Kelly Jones to come over to my apartment for my housewarming. Chris was dirty macking, bro. He was dirty macking.
Hey, Chris.
He was being sick.
Chris.
Yeah. Yo, Chris, Chris was out here doing shots with her. It was some sick work, man. It was some real sick work. And she was over there because of me. Sick work.
Chris, you nasty for that, bro. You nasty for that.
Chris is
Oh,
my
God.
dog, man. I haven't seen Chris in a long time. I need to see Chris.
Yeah,
Me
I
and
just
Chris
ran
always
into
like
him.
randomly run into each other. Like
That's
always.
we was at your house. That's when Bucks came over and was like, "Man, I don't believe Loaded Lux lost. Man, Loaded Lux can't lose." I'm like, "Bro,
Yeah,
he
no, I
got
remember.
bodied."
It was us four. It was me, you, Chris, and Bucks. Yeah, nah,
Bucks.
it was cool, man. Nah, it was cool.
Buck was like, "Nah, man, rewind it, man, because he didn't lose." Nah, bro,
Yeah, nah, that's what happened. That's what happened.
he got bodied, bro. It's over.
He didn't lose.
He was
lost.
asking for a review in battle rap.
He was.
For a challenge flag.
He was. No, that happened. That did
He was,
happen.
he was so mad Loaded Lux lost, bro. He was just finished for the night, bro.
I can just see.
Oh, man.
I can see Country watching battle rap as foreplay. Like that's what just gets him in the mood.
Wow. Wow, that's
Like
crazy.
that, man.
That's crazy.
That's
bro.
This
wow.
misconception, man.
Hey, that's crazy.
Misconception. We did have a good time, Chris.
He just watched the
I ain't seen
Tay-Rod.
Chris since he worked at Foot Locker.
No, Chris is my brother for real. He knows that. I got nothing but love for Chris, man. Chris is my guy. He was being nasty that night. He remembers. He knows he was being nasty. He knows he was being nasty. McNasty.
Listen, you already know.
Oh, my God.
Weekend, yo. But Carrington, we got a preseason game coming up. I mean, we already mentioned a few things about it. So, like, you mentioned how the first team didn't really come out with it for real. They didn't care. So, like, what are some of the things you want to see in this second game? Whether it's the first string, second string, third string, it don't matter.
Effort. That's it. Effort. That's enough for me. I just don't. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. It's hard for me to just get into fake football. Like, I know nobody is playing hard, and the dudes that are playing hard ain't gonna make the team. I'm okay. I'm all right. Just effort. That's all I really want to see is effort. To me, only bad stuff can happen in the preseason. Nothing good can happen. Like, we can talk about Nico. I don't know how you pronounce the dude's last name. I'm sure y'all know how to pronounce him. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about.
Remedial.
What is it?
Remedial.
No, Drew, I don't pronounce it like you.
Remigio.
It's Remigio, yeah.
Remigio. All right, Chris Remigio. Him.
He-O, not he-ho. He-O. Remigio.
Yo, Kylie, I didn't like the way you corrected me there. You said it with a little old bay on there. Like, you put a lot of season on the way.
Remigio.
Oh my God.
I don't know why I have to worry about it because he's not going to be on the team in 2 weeks. So why do I need to learn his name? I don't need to learn it. He's not going to be on the team. So you don't have
to worry until August next year.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm real bad at that. So. Like, you remember Charles, Missouri had that dude Albert O. I still don't know how to pronounce that dude's last name. Why do I need to know? He just Albert O me. I ain't gonna call him Albert. Come on, bro, that's too much. You know, you throwing too many big words at me. Since I don't know what they mean, I'm gonna take them as a sign of disrespect.
Disrespect.
I'm gonna take them as a sign of disrespect, man.
Did he get the mystery IR? Is he the new Tyler Bray?
Oh, he definitely about to get the Tyler Bray treatment, 100%.
You got to.
See that? Have you learned Felix's name? Have you learned his whole name? Since he's the first reference.
DK Uzama.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right.
Yeah.
Good.
You had him on the show, right? You had him on the show?
I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember.
Man, I wish I got guessed that good that I could forget him.
You can have them. I swear to you, I would help you. You can have them. It's not. It's fine. I don't. It's okay. I don't really think that much about it at this point.
Carrington lying, man.
I really don't. I swear to God.
Because I'd be like, man, let me get Mitchell Schwartz. He'd be like, well, I can't tell him to do that. Like,
oh, well, like Mitch is different. Like Mitch just doesn't like doing that kind of stuff. So like, I'm not gonna sign him up and then you feel like I'm okay. I mean, there's some dudes that are like, yeah, I would do it. Like I would give you their number, but I know Mitchell Schwartz well enough to tell you that he will not come on Kingdom Cast. I know him well enough. But you asked me to help you with Sean Barber. Sean Barber will do it.
I know. I went to training camp and me and Sean had a good talk. And
Yeah, I
really
talked
cool.
to John Barber earlier today. So yeah,
He's a good dude.
I can tell you who's gonna do your podcast and who's not gonna do it. I know that well enough to tell you. Like if y'all want me to get Pete Sweeney to do it, I can get you Pete Sweeney. He will do it.
I already got.
Already
I got.
talked to him, actually.
Yeah,
Okay.
we in negotiations with Pete right now.
Negotiations.
He's not allowed to wear. He's not allowed to wear a bow tie or a vest.
Do you guys
We in
want Kevin Keatsman to come on here?
Huh?
Do you guys want Keatsman to come on here?
Oh Lord.
Yeah, the last episode ever.
Oh,
Me and Keatsman
We
have
might
like
get
a
more
very-
followers if we get.
Me and Keatsman have like a very weird like relationship. It's like a
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, tell Mitch it's a cooking podcast.
He'll be there.
Hey, I'm more than happy to talk about cooking with him. If that's what we need to do to get him on here.
Mitch is great. I love Mitch.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah, Kylie can take over that episode, yo. So
Love it. Sign it up.
Love
Sign me
it.
up.
Nah,
Get him on
I
the
do like
phone.
listening to Mitch.
I do.
Like,
Mitch
behind.
and the kids. Mitch and the
Mitch
kids.
will clap back at the most random. You talk about me clapping at random people. Mitch Schwartz claps at random people for no reason.
That's because country, you be arguing with Bengals bots, bro. It be wild, bro. Like, you be Boogie. You definitely see country argue with a bot before.
I can't speak.
No, this is bad because I put Country in a bad spot. He had to defend me for like the last 2 weeks when I was just muting people, and so they were talking to themselves in my mentions. Country was going back and forth with him.
I know I had to apologize to the dude. He ended up having a disease, and that was terrible.
yeah, we got fans accusing fans being two teamers now and stuff.
Oh man, that was a day.
No, you know what? D-Mac, address the situation and kill it right now.
No, we
everybody lay back. D-Mac, address the situation so we can kill it. And Carrington's gonna make fun of you after you done. So go
absolutely.
ahead.
So Carrington.
I don't have any issues with D-Mac. I like D-Mac.
Why set him up for this?
I asked D-Mac one day, I was like, yo, what player on the Chiefs do you not like? Because he was just going, he's like, this guy had great upside. Bro, you say this about everybody. Like, tell me somebody who doesn't have good upside.
I gave you a list back though. I told you who I didn't like on the team, dog.
He told me Tyler Thigpen. I'm like, all right, bro, I'm not talking to you about this, bro. I don't even want to debate.
I'm bad at disability. That's not a disability. Tell the story, D-Mac.
All right. So a few weeks back, random one of these bots. All right, go ahead. Take your time.
He said, I got to get some popcorn. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, he definitely popped some popcorn right now.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
Chris, Chris. No, I don't, Chris. Don't believe this foolishness, Chris.
Hey, country in the chat.
Argue with AI. Chat GPT was out there getting country.
What are you talking? What is the clap?
What the clap?
Wow.
What is the clap?
Hey, yo, our cousin.
We are off the rails. We are off the rails.
Way off the rails. We're talking about the clap.
This is gone.
Way.
All right, Carrington, you back?
D-Mac, why did you wear that treacherous jersey? That's all I want to know.
All right, yeah. So in 2018, during the conference, the semifinals, whatever, I made a bet with my pops. My pops is a Rams fan. I'm a Chiefs fan. I made a bet that the Chiefs were going to the playoffs. The Rams wouldn't. He made the opposite bet. So I lost. We ended up going to the Super Bowl in Atlanta. I had to wear a Rams jersey in result. So I posted on Facebook, or not on Facebook, on Instagram, because, I enjoyed going to the Super Bowl and I had the jersey on. So now, like 2 weeks ago, these random fans decided to pull it up and be like, oh, he's a fake Chiefs fan. And it was hilarious. It started off a whole bunch of stuff on Twitter. But got my impressions up, which I enjoyed. It was fun. But yeah, so in the meantime of all of the random bots that were in my mentions, Country was arguing with them while I put them on mute. So that's what happened.
Let me ask y'all this question, because I'm happy you said that. What do people think that you do with impressions? Like, do they think that you turn them in at the Twitter store? Like, people say that to me, like, yo, you doing this for impressions. And I be thinking, like, what value do you think I get from impressions? Like, what What do you think I've gained by you tweeting me? Like, you think that you tweeting me has made me money? Like, I don't understand way people say that. Like, I don't understand.
Well, I
Yo,
heard
People like it for the algorithm.
that was nuts. That man,
That's crazy.
I'm laughing.
Chris is stupid.
Yo, this man Chris G said I was eating a hungry man.
TV dinner is crazy, yo.
I believe
Cuisine.
Hey,
Chris,
you
because cooking
you
with
know the
Chris
best
Harrison was
TV
bad.
dinner is the one that had that brownie in it, bro. If it didn't have a brownie, it wasn't a good TV dinner.
I mean, that is facts though. But I remember cooking with Carrington, dog, and how that went, man. Oh my god,
It was not good. No,
Man, I have a question about football. Can I ask a question about
Go ahead,
football? Is this
bro.
still
Go
a
ahead,
football
Kylie.
podcast?
talking
Is
about that with you.
Go ahead, Carly.
Carrington, I want to know what you think the Chiefs will finish this season and what losses you have.
All right, let me look at their schedule real quick. Hold on.
I thought
no, you know the
though. You
schedule.
have it memorized.
What do you say?
You got it memorized.
What do you say to
Okay,
me?
I don't
You
have
know the
every single
schedule.
week memorized. I have like the first 6 memorized. I don't have every single one memorized. Hold on, let me look.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
Country was like, "Oh, I don't know who they play the second week." Like, all right, bro.
I can't stand Chris. Right
PS3.
I think they're going to lose to either the Bears or the Jets. I think they lose one of those two.
If we lose to the Bears, we definitely don't lose to the Jets.
Yeah, I'm with you. One of the two. They'll lose
Yeah.
one of the two.
Sure.
Jets.
I think they lose to the Chargers at some point. I'm kind of with D-Mac. Like, the Chargers probably win one of the 2 games at some point. You know what I mean? Like, you're just not going to win 9. Like, they're a good football team.
Yeah, they might win, but they lose Keenan Allen in the process. So,
Jeez.
you know it's.
You don't think the
Maybe on
Broncos?
the road against the Patriots later in the season.
Feels like a trap. Feels like a trap.
That is a tough
That game does.
Yeah, that's probably, if I had to like pick 4, that's probably what I would pick. One game to the Chargers, either the Bears or the Jets, Patriots.
The Patriots
And
also have
then-
extra rest that game too.
And then it'll be one random, what was happening? Like, what were they on? Because, like, I don't think they'll lose to the Dolphins. It's, like, way too much riding on it. Mahomes isn't going to let them lose to the Dolphins. They're not going to lose to the Eagles at home with all the stuff the Eagles have talking.
Especially off the bye week.
Yeah, I can't see them losing to the Vikings. I think a lot of Chiefs fans are going to be there.
Bengals, of course.
So that Denver
Yeah.
stretch, though.
That could be the one they lose. I
And
don't
that
know.
Broncos, yeah.
What about that
It
Denver
just seems
stretch?
like they eventually beat them in the regular season. Like, they're too evenly matched to me.
Yeah, but that Denver
That's
stretch,
fair.
week 6 and week 8, that's that might be one. That might be one.
Week 8,
The
I got
second-
Broncos.
Yeah, the second Denver game, I think we go to Germany after that, so we're looking at the Dolphins. Maybe I could see us losing that second Denver game.
And
I
that's
think it's
3
in
division
Denver, too.
games straight, too, right?
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 3 in a row.
Broncos,
Huh?
Germany.
Yes.
I got Broncos.
Yeah.
I feel y'all, but I watched Russell Wilson last weekend, so
He was bad.
Yeah.
he looked kind of bad.
But
He
what
was
last
bad.
season we beat the Broncos twice by 3 points each, maybe.
And
I
one,
think, and they
Wilson
didn't have Sean
even play,
Payton,
remember?
and
Who got hurt?
and Sean Payton, I think, is just obviously he's just a better game manager. He's better at third down conversion. Like, I just think there's some things that could sway that game a little bit differently than. It
I
did
mean,
last
Mahomes
year.
hasn't lost in any of their road venues in the division. Like, think about how
Mhm.
crazy that is. Like,
That's just insane to think
crazy.
about.
it's
Yeah,
insane.
that's nuts.
He's never lost to the Chargers on the road, never lost to the Raiders, never lost to the Broncos. Like, at some point, you know what I mean? Like,
It's got to happen. Yeah.
yeah, you just lose, you know? Like, so yeah, I mean, that's probably what I would pick. I got him winning. I got him winning 13 games. I don't know. I just think they're really good. You know, I just think they're really good.
So as you go through this, because you sorry, go ahead, Country.
I was going to ask Carrington, and I don't want to jump too far off subject, but this might be. How does the whole conversation of does Pat have to win 7 rings to pass Brady again? Do you think if we go 5 Super Bowl titles, 5 MVPs, is that enough to say he's better than Brady?
No. Let me start from here. Well, I just don't want to look at Charles. Some people think that LeBron is better than Jordan, even though LeBron doesn't have a better resume than Jordan, right? Like, he doesn't have a better resume. He doesn't have a better resume.
Y'all, good night, man.
I find it hard to believe that Mahomes is going to have a better resume than Brady. When Brady's argument for being the best is never that we think he's the best quarterback that we've ever seen. He's the most accomplished quarterback that we've ever seen. So I think you're going to have to beat him in accomplishments if that's the case. I also think what's going to end up always being a negative for Mahomes is Mahomes has played Brady in 2 postseasons and they lost both of the games. It'd be one thing if he like had tied them and they were one apiece or something. I mean, his first playoff losses to Brady, his first Super Bowl losses to Brady. So I just think you got to go above and beyond in order to pass Brady in that context. So yeah, I mean, I would say that 2 is probably the highest that Mahomes can be. I mean, if you go down to the second best quarterback of all time, I don't think anyone can be mad at that. But I just think it's going to be really hard to pass Brady because of that.
Yeah, it's more of a Jordan Kobe conversation, but you know.
Or I think he's going to have to do something Brady didn't do. Like Brady never finished the undefeated season. I think he's going to have to then have the undefeated season then. Brady never won 3 in a row. What Goat is saying. You're going to have to then win 3 in a row. Like at this point, in order to pass Brady, maybe you have fewer championships. Let's say you finish with 6, but you did 2 things that Brady could never do. And I think that could give you the argument.
He does already have the MVP and Super Bowl MVP in the same season, so that is one thing that Brady never could accomplish.
Yeah, I don't know
if you count that if you count that as what it is. But I agree, I wouldn't put down the same thing as 3 titles in a row or something like that or undefeated.
Yeah, I don't know if people really care about that. I mean, it's a great stat. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think people care about that as much.
Steve Ballmer jersey. Yeah, that's the thing for me. Like anytime this conversation comes up is like, oh well, you know, Mahomes can't catch Brady. I don't give a damn. I'm gonna enjoy having the best player on the team, best player in the league on my team. And so that's the important part for me. Like, you know, for some people, Mahomes could have 8 wings and he's never gonna be better than Brady. So that part of it doesn't really matter much. But it's a fun conversation, especially when you could mention LeBron and then Chuck's, you know, face turns sour. It's always enjoyable to watch.
It's that recency bias, man. It's the same thing.
Don't trigger Chuck today.
Like, if you already argue that Mahomes is the greatest quarterback you've ever seen, I don't think that's not a crazy opinion to have. He's not the most accomplished quarterback we've ever seen, but if you were just talking, I've got one game, I would take Patrick Mahomes. I don't think that that's a wrong answer. I mean, that wouldn't be my answer, but I don't think it's a wrong answer. Like, he's already gotten to that point, and he's not 30 years old. Like, that's a really impressive feat, the fact that that's a crazy opinion to have. Like, if you said I'd rather have Patrick Mahomes than Joe Montana, that's not a crazy opinion to have.
Mm-hmm.
But you can never say that about LeBron James if you need one game to win. That's all I'm going to say on that. But
so anyway, Carrington, we've had a tweet circling around.
Hold on, really quick. This actually, you know what? I promise you we'll get back. This is the thing though. We can argue context with Mahomes, right? Mahomes had a Super Bowl. He didn't have his left tackle and his right tackle. Like, I'm sure Charles will say, well, what about, you know, X, Y, and Z? We can't do that to LeBron. He went to the NBA Finals and his second best player was Boobie Gibson. The second best player was Boobie Gibson. It was Carlos Boozer. He went to another NBA Finals. Kevin Love and Kyrie got hurt. Who was he supposed to win a championship with? Matthew Dellavedova? Who was he supposed to win a chip with?
Was he not a 2-1? Was he not?
Dellavedova needed to get IVs after Game 4 will always be hilarious to me. That man had never played that much basketball in his life. He was like, I don't know what's going on out here. I'm trying my best.
He was doing his best. He was competing. I love a guy that's going to compete.
I mean, damn. He needed a good Boobie Gibson to even get to the finals. So...
Oh, God.
But it's always tough for me. It's tough for me to always do the team accomplishment things, especially in this great of a team sport as far as football versus basketball stuff. So that's always a difficult thing. But to your point, C-Dot, when that resume for Brady is so extensive. I mean, that's always going to be an
it's
impossible bar to
spotless.
reach.
Like Brady's resume is spotless. Like if you're telling me the only knock is you couldn't beat Eli
Manning twice. Yeah, that's
like I have 10 appearances. Eli has 2. I have 7 of these. Eli has 2. Like if that's the one knock.
He's going to the Super Bowl because he beat me. So yeah.
So like I mean I just
Brady was in the championship 80% of his career too. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, but like why is it always quarterback versus quarterback though when they going against the opponent's defenses though? Like why are we always
It's the guy. It's the most important position. It's got to be quarterback versus quarterback.
Same reason when they lose, we're gonna say it was because of the quarterback too, right?
Mm-hmm. It's like in the 1980s when you had a great ace. If you had that ace going up against each other in the playoffs, and it's ace versus ace, and that's who you hold on to, and that's what the judgment is.
I mean that's a little more sense. I mean it makes a little more sense because it's baseball. You know what I mean? You facing like one batter. You know what I mean?
Because it's baseball.
This is the thing. Charles be saying all the hot takes and then want to have like
why
you're the reason we do this. What are you talking about?
But how is that a hot take? With what I just said.
I didn't say that's a hot take. I'm saying you normally have all the hot takes. Now you're like, this isn't fair. You say unfair stuff all the time towards athletes. Now it ain't fair.
But what made you say
now
that?
It's wrong.
That's what I don't get. What made you say that though?
You have a list of 100 basketball players ahead of LeBron James. You sat down on your phone and wrote and typed 100 players. What's so crazy?
That
like Giannis isn't on the list. James Harden, it's so many dudes. Like the dude that didn't make the list are funnier than the dudes that did make the list. It's so you have LeBron as like the 119th best basketball player ever. It's insane.
That's false, though. I do got LeBron the top 100. What are you talking about?
Okay.
Chuck, right. That is the ultimate hot take, though. There's nothing that ever could happen that you were ever matched that. Like you can't do better than that. You can't. Whatsoever.
Kylie, you know what? Kylie, I'm giving Charles 5 more minutes. You know, I'm giving him 5 more minutes. And I'm about to go watch John Tucker Must Die. I'm
gonna mess up.
Hold on.
John Tucker Must Die.
Because anyway, so
hold on. Let me ask him this question because John obviously asked it. Do you have a breakout player that you're actually excited for this season that you actually think that could have a better season than he did last year?
Can I say Joshua Williams?
Sure.
Yes.
That's a very key player for him to take over that third cornerback role spot.
Yeah, I'd say Joshua Williams. I mean, we're kind of looking at the Chiefs like they're not going to keep L'Jarius Sneed. Like, there's no reason to think they're going to keep L'Jarius Sneed. So, I mean, that means they really believe in Joshua Williams. Like, they really believe that he can be a legitimate corner in the league. So I'll say him as my breakout player this year. I don't really think the Chiefs in a lot of ways are boring. They're boring in the fact now that we all know everything about them. Like, if we had made our 53-man roster at the beginning of camp, all of us, we all would have got 49 players, 50 players. Like, we already knew the roster. You knew who the starters were. You know the 2 deep. Like, there's not a lot of intrigue in this part of the season. Like, the intrigue starts with, are they going to be the 1 seed? Can they get back to another AFC championship game? Who can potentially knock them off? The intrigue is not who their backup quarterback is. Like, that doesn't know. Like, no, I don't care about that. Country really asked me between Sam Bell and Blaine Gabbert. Neither one of them.
Yeah, disrespectful, man.
Oh, all right. You know what? I'm actually gonna get out of here. I have 2 questions for Boogie and Country. You can answer this too, D-Mac, if you want. Country, give me one rapper that you thought was gonna make it but didn't make it. Like, give me a rapper that you was like, yo, he next up, and he wasn't next up.
I think that you probably Stackwell is one.
That actually checks out.
Damn, yeah, okay.
I'm not surprised you like Stackwell.
I think that Ace Hood had the biggest machine behind him, and he never got to the level that he was supposed to get. Who else? I think Rich Boy started off well and then he disappeared very quickly.
I'll
Who else?
give you three.
Oh, that's a Jody Breeze.
Yeah,
Jody Breeze, absolutely.
Jody Breeze. I
Jody
still
Breeze.
don't understand what happened with Jody Breeze.
All right, Kylie.
See,
Jeezy.
I'm still
You gone,
very
Kylie?
confused that it didn't work for Jody Breeze.
Have a nice night, guys.
I still don't really understand why it didn't work for Murphy Lee. Like Murphy Lee was super popular. He had a great debut album, and then it was over. It doesn't make any sense for me. You can ask Charles this. I still don't understand what happened with Jay Electronica. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, Jay Electronica started as hot as any rapper I can remember that, like, didn't have, like, a project. Like, Exhibit A, Exhibit C, Shiny Suit Theory. You was like, yo, Jay Electronica is the next Nas. Like, that's, like, I believe that at that point. Like, I thought he was about to drop Illmatic, and then he just didn't want to rap anymore. It's just very, very weird.
Yeah, then the album came out way too late. He finally dropped something, and the buzz just went away. Like, it wasn't much buzz, so people wasn't as interested.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Ace Hood. Ace
Hood.
What was
right,
that?
let me ask you this: who wins in a versus, Khaled or Mustard?
Oh,
Mustard.
I'm gonna say Khaled barely. It's really close. It's really close.
It's not really. How many songs did Mustard got?
Mustard got a lot of songs.
Yeah,
Mustard got a lot of songs.
I think Khaled. Yeah, it might be closer. Yeah, it might be Khaled though, but
Mustard got a lot for like that one summer, like 14. He had 5 of the songs on the radio. It was just like boom, 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 boom. You're like, oh, okay, like all that Kid Ink stuff, all that YG stuff, 2 Chainz. Yeah, Mustard got a lot. He got a couple Rihanna records. Mustard got some. Yeah, Mustard. I think Khaled wins too. I think Mustard is very competitive.
I'm not real big on DJ Khaled too, man.
Yeah, I mean, you can't.
What exactly does DJ Khaled do besides talk?
He curates the vibes.
Yes.
Yeah,
I could do that. I could go find some beats.
I mean, start curating the vibes.
No, you think Memphis Bleak got 30 hits? No.
I think he got more hits than Lloyd Banks. I'm still standing on that, bro.
All right, y'all. It's time to go, man.
All right.
I appreciate it. Say he got more hits than Lloyd Banks is crazy.
It's insane.
Lloyd Banks got a lot of hits.
Thank you.
He has a classic album.
What? Which one?
The Hunger for More is.
It's not a classic. No.
Go back and listen to The Hunger for More and start from 1 to. I'm telling you, there's not a skip on Hunger for More. Not a single skip on there.
Yeah, country, you tripping.
I'm telling you, Hunger for More is fire, dog.
Country is upset.
Memphis Bleak got 5 hits. Quinn, come on, Quinn. Come on,
I gave you 30 songs. You can pick out more hits in there. I can do it. I already did it.
I actually do think that Memphis got a little bit more fire than you giving him credit. He ain't got 30, but I could probably give you a fire 15 from Memphis easy.
That's what I'm saying. I act like I'm saying he could go to something.
But Lloyd got more.
Hey,
no,
bro,
Lloyd would beat him.
Stop calling us the king of the clan, bro. Like we don't like that clan word.
I blocked that dude a while ago. He a weirdo.
Oh, you know what it is?
Oh, I didn't know who it was. We're not a clan, though.
Yeah, he weird. That's weird. That guy, he's weird.
Right.
Ain't like there's too many K's in that, bro.
Yeah, that was like purposeful. That was weird. We got weirdo energy, dog.
Got creepy.
I
told Charles I was only gonna do 45 minutes, and I've been on.
Yeah, that was an hour ago.
Yeah, you went well over. You went well over, but I mean, we appreciate it.
It's love, man, for sure. It's gonna be a while till I come back on here. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that right now.
We only use you once a year. I
don't know, sometimes twice.
Let's do the bye week. Remind me of the bye week. I'll do it.
Yeah, you old as this though. Because before the draft, you said call me back like preseason.
I did the draft. Oh yeah, no, okay, all right, yeah. So I did the draft.
Yeah, so we right on point. We still waiting on Mitch Holtis, but it's okay. It's okay.
All right. You know what? I appreciate y'all. Boogie, you know it's love, even though you did me
Plug
foul.
your show. Plug
Even though
your
you
new
did me
movie.
foul.
Do you got a new movie coming out?
Who to me?
Yeah.
Man, I'm so
What are you
focused
working
on
on?
football, man. I'm just focused on football, man. For real, to be completely real with you about it, man. Like, this is as good as I've ever felt in a radio creative space, and I'm just focused on that, man. I'm focused on football season, man. That's it.
Who is your new producer?
Rob Brink, that's my guy. I love Rob. I tell Rob all the time. Like, I tell people, Rob know my schedule more than me. Every day I wake up, Rob tells me what I need to do. I tell anybody, especially during football season, if you need me to do something, you need to ask Rob if I got time to do it.
He got some hot takes too, though. He's a cool dude, though. I like Rob, though.
Are you really gonna do the Tomb Raider?
I will do it. I would love to pick a better movie, but okay.
Okay, well then how about this? In the month of September, you give me a list of give me a list of like 5 movies you want to do, and I'll pick one of them.
And they have to be rated
There's got to be
below?
a 6.0 or less on IMDb. That's it. 6.
You said what?
6.0 or less.
All right, and I'm bringing Kylie with me.
That's fine. Is she here in Kansas City?
Nah,
she's in the outskirts.
I've never met her in person before.
But yeah, she's supposed to be coming into town next weekend, actually. So, and And speaking of that, let's go and make the announcement right now. Okay, so the Fantasy Football League is going to go on again.
All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for having me, man.
Peace, man.
All right,
Appreciate it, bro.
D-Mac.
For sure.
Yeah. But
damn character.
But yeah, as I was saying, though, the Fantasy Football League is coming back. Next weekend, we're going to be at Buffalo Wild Wings down in Independence. So you catch us down there. We're trying to get a time slot in, either for 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, but most likely it'll be 6 o'clock. So I'm going to put the link up after we get off the show tonight for everybody to sign up. If you get enough interest, we may do 2 leagues. So yeah, that's our announcement for the Fantasy Football League this year. And we'll have surprises for that, of course. So I'll make that announcement later on for that as well. So that's what we got going on for the Fantasy League. Looking forward to the competition and, just beating everybody, of course, because, that's what I usually do. So
That's a lie.
and look, y'all let a Bengals fan come in there last year and won.
Right.
Okay, so I want to say, because enough time has passed on this, and enough time has passed on this that I can bring this gripe up. Last year in 2 different leagues, I had opportunities to win those leagues, but the DeMar Hamlin situation took away games that I would have won and added points for. And so I did not want to say anything at the time, but now time has passed. I can complain about it now. I would have won 2 leagues had that situation not happened and that game got played. That is just what I'm saying. That wouldn't have happened in our league. That's all I'll say.
Boogie was so disgusted with what you just said.
He was like, I can't endorse this.
all right. So,
D-Mac, plug your show that we don't have a name for.
Yeah, that we'll workshop the name. But yes, earlier today I did my 53-man roster projection. It's up on YouTube. Please do go ahead and show some love. If you guys haven't seen it yet, take a look and see where I have making the team so far. That's for in between week 1 and week 2 of preseason. And we will be having a show for, with a guest on of me during our 53-man roster projection before the final cut down day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Excited about that.
Because you got something?
No.
All right, so let's not get up out of here, man.
Yes,
sir.
All
right, so today only on homage. There's 20% off site-wide, so anything you buy they take 20% off. Still got the Team Essential line that drops, and got the Crush Crew necks that just came back. Got your pop culture tees, different things with that, and then you just got your normal go-to collection. So go and copy some gear and pay homage Be more NFL drops on the way as the season goes along.
Hey, it's fall time. Make sure y'all get them crew necks. You know you
Get them hoodie.
You can cup on them.
It's hoodie season almost.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna look out for them starter jackets. I mean, that's kind of what I'm waiting on.
I like those too.
Yeah, I need to pull over them.
Yeah. All right. So that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share all your social media platforms. To the next episode, it's on to Arizona. We out.
Kingdom Cast. Like, share, subscribe.